Hold on, before we start here, I want to say thank you to PlayStation for sponsoring today's stream chat. You guys can all type !SAROS in the chat to learn more about the game. You can also click the panel below the stream or the pinned message at the top of the chat. SAROS will automatically suspend your cycle if you close the game outside. Suspend your cycle if you close the game outside of boss encounters. If you die or close SAROS during boss encounters, you will always be returned to the starting area and all non-permanent progression will be lost. Wow. They really didn't want people cheesing it, which, you know, respect. Yeah, it's really cool to be sponsored for this game. I've been excited for this one. Yeah, this is made by the same devs who made Returnal, by the way, in case anybody didn't know. So if you've played that game, it is the same devs.
The sun is forever.
The sun is forever.
Alright, time for controller aim. The default movement actually seems pretty decent.
Find me, Arjun. I need you.
I know. I need you too.
Oh, wow.
Scan for Saltari
Dude,
signals.
you get so much distance with the dash. Holy frickin' moly.
I need to find her on my own.
What's back here? Can I actually fall? Oh, I definitely can fall, yeah. Oh, so the longer you hold, if you hold it, you actually go further, I think. The heck is Dad? Oh, you can hold to increase jump height, okay. Oh. Okay.
What you want. What you need.
Oh, you can jump dash. Didn't even think to try that. Yo, Mazema, thank you for the 28 months. Yeah, so apparently, wait, what did they say? So apparently there's like some modifiers you can turn on in the game. I don't know if it's like after... Well, actually, I don't know. The game will probably explain it, but apparently there's something called Carcosan modifiers, which basically, it's kind of like difficulty settings. Maybe not directly like difficulty, but apparently there's things that you can turn on to make the game more challenging, and there's also things you could turn on to make it like easier for new players or people that are struggling. Wow, okay. We have a shield, we have a dash, we have the melee. Okay, that's for my armor.
Let nothing stop you.
Oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. Oh no. Oh. Guess I let go of the shield too early. Wait a sec. Wait, was it not? Oh, you can dash, right. It's so weird though, the shield worked the first time, didn't it? Am I crazy? Am I gonna die in the tutorial, dude? Can you? I wonder if you even can die in the tutorial. This is SAROS.
I see you. I know you are near. You are so close now.
Hold on to me. I will find you.
Oh, bro. And since that's red, can I melee it, I wonder? Oh, there's perfect reloads, too. Nice. Well, if only I didn't lose 90% of my health in the... If only I didn't lose 90% of my health to the fucking laser wall. You know, it's weird though, because I tried to dash while holding the shield, but that also, like, I'm surprised that holding the shield and dashing didn't work, but I guess it like functions differently. I don't know if that was scripted, to be honest. I feel like you could beat that guy. It's alright though. I ran out of shield. Yeah, but I'm saying like if you dash with the shield up, like you don't get the iframes from dashing. You know what I mean?
Function restored.
Wish the combat was more clean. I mean, this game's meant to be like a bullet hell.
She was there.
It's kind of how it works.
Jerome?
We have the hand cannon alt fire. Oh, how do I alt fire?
Sheridan?
I don't know if there's going to be many secrets right now. I think... I imagine there's actually secrets, but kind of in like the tutorial still.
Tom? It was promised.
I need to know that I just made the right decision.
It's me, boss.
Haven't seen Tarn since he sabotaged our ship. Thought he was dead. Just like you.
Wait, how long?
Since the last time the sun died, man.
Yeah, I remember seeing the eclipse and then...
Tarn was good people. You can come out.
Tarn.
Arjun? Tarn. No. What happened?
Where have you been? And what did you do?
Nothing. I don't know what to tell you, Kay. It feels like I only just left and Tarn jumps me.
You left us here. We've lost people. There's no way to get home, and you
Kayla,
you can just...
he's returned to us. That is what matters.
Time for this later. Kayla, Stack. Go make sure Tarn didn't mess with any other equipment.
Stack.
While Jerome and I deal with this.
Means you too, mate.
Getting some gyoza for lunch, chat.
Argent, there's a Sultari signal out there. It's our best shot at finding the home.
Let's find our people before that signal disappears. I'll follow when you're ready.
I'll find them and make sure everyone's safe.
Everyone's hurting. But remember, we've still got a job to do.
Game looks really
Of
nice.
course we're hurting. Tarn was a friend.
We've lost a lot of friends. I'm just trying to keep the rest alive.
What the hell happened, Jay?
Most wandered off and got themselves killed. Some came back. Different.
On my 4K OLED monitor,
Maybe not
true.
large.
Sheridan. I'm sorry you had to make that call.
My job is to keep my team alive.
What happened to the crew isn't your fault.
Saltari won't agree. Half of us gone, and nothing to show for it.
I'm on
They
PS5
won't care
Pro.
once we find the colonists. We've got your back, boss. You think the others can hold it together?
They're the only ones who didn't lose their minds. So that's something.
You think the colonists are still alive?
We get occasional signals, but they stop as soon as they start. There were thousands on the ships before us. Gotta be some sign of them out there.
What about you, Jay? How you holding up?
Won't lie, mate. I bloody hate this place.
I need to know what you were doing out there. What if what happened to Tarn happens to you?
I'm fine, Kayla. It was only a few hours.
Days, Arjun. You were gone for days.
Days? However long it was, I should get back to the search.
We were supposed to be the support ship. But who's gonna help us?
We help each other. Nothing's changed that.
Yeah, this game's running really well though. Feels really good. Computer.
It's good to have you back, Arjun. Thought we'd lost you too.
I can't believe so many are gone.
They didn't all die. Some of them changed.
Changed.
This performance mode?
What happened to them?
I don't know.
It was different for each of them. But Alab and Beers, they were so cruel. It was a mercy when they left.
You can turn off the aim magnetism. I might leave that on. I mean, it's on by default. Maybe if I was on keyboard mouse, I would turn it off, but... Oh, wow. You could... There's really a lot of crazy audio settings with this. Holy. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any, like, mode for the game. I mean, not that I need it. Like, the game's running perfectly fine.
How are you, Stag?
Somewhat adrift. A pilot with clipped wings.
You'll be alright once we find the colony. What are you gonna do in the meantime?
Sheridan would have me counting rations and sweeping floors. But I need more. I came here for so much more.
Than the actual PlayStation settings. The thing is, I'm on PS5 Pro. I don't. Is there even a boost setting on PS5 Pro? I don't think there is. Maybe there is. I don't know. I mean, the game's running perfectly fine. I'm not worried about it, honestly. What the heck is this? Find the colony.
Got a route to that Soltari signal.
Map data corrupted. Marking approximate location.
This is cool. Collecting Lucenite during a cycle raises your proficiency level. After a cycle, it can unlock new nodes in the armor matrix.
Let's find that signal and bring back some good news.
On it, Jay.
That lot in the passage is all that's left of us. And they're ready to break.
Wow. And the animations are so fast. I love when devs focus more on gameplay than like immersion. I feel like this is definitely more of like a gameplay focused game. Not to say that it's not immersive potentially, but you know what I mean. It's like you have some games where you have like really long, slow animations, like you're waiting around a lot for things to happen.
Jay, do we know anything about this civilization yet?
Whatever it was, it's a graveyard now.
But Soltari said there was nothing.
Focus on the rescue, mate.
By the way, chat, we are sponsored by SAROS. The game is available on the 30th. You guys can all check it out by typing ! SAROS in the chat. You can also click the panel below the stream.
Unknown power signature detected.
How do I see the battery? Oh, I see it. I see it now. Okay. Well, we're sponsored by PlayStation, but to play SAROS.
Looks like a dead end.
Yeah, the deluxe edition has 2-day early access as well.
Power integrated. Open the path.
Oh. What is the point of aiming down sights anyways? Because you can hip fire. Yeah, we just started a little bit ago.
You were gone for days. You really don't remember.
Feels like no time at all.
Those were
Kept
allies.
searching for the
Yeah,
colonists the whole
totally.
time. Odds are looking grim at this point.
No, they're safe, Jerome. Everyone on those ships is safe.
Oh, +5 resilience. I guess that's like damage reduction or something like that, probably. Okay, so when I'm... Okay, so there is a perfect reload if you time your like R2 input as it's like midway through the bar, then you get the perfect reload. The orbs are like a currency. We have not really figured out what we spend them on yet. The game mentioned something about like armor nodes. I don't know. press R3 for the reload. Oh. You can't, like, force a reload, though. Honestly, R3 is kind of... I feel like R3 is just, like, worse, though. Oh, that's the alt fire, I see. You can, like, counteract the recoil, I think. It's kind of hard, though. Yeah, you have infinite ammo. This isn't a survival horror game. Messing up the perfect reloads. Yeah, you have to like pull down pretty hard to avoid the recoil there. I need a key for this.
It knows me. Soon, they will come for us, and we will bleed, and we will smile.
Maybe I can get a key over here and then come back. Maybe I actually missed a key already, which would be kind of crazy. Messing up the perfect reload. Yeah, I will say it's definitely a lot harder to use the... Oh right, I have to hold down. Yeah, this is... You really have to, like, counter the... You have to hold that, like, full down on the right stick the moment you start firing if you don't want the recoil to, like, completely make you miss. What is this? There's a door here. I don't want to go the other way, though. I mean, I know recoil control. I have like 5,000 hours in CSGO, but I'm not used to doing it on a controller, quite frankly.
Is this ours? Echelon 4 gear.
Confirmed. Vandalism locked.
In the time between eclipses, I find myself again. Think about what I've done, about what I'm going to do next, and I know that none of it is right. That doesn't mean I can stop it. The darkness will chew up the sun and spit it out all over again, and I'll wake up with just memories of a dream. Am I the dreamer or the dream? The dream of kings, the dream of my desires, endless and hungry. So short now, this time awake. So Jerome, Lena, Arjun, whoever finds this, I'm sorry, but I can't change any of it now. Tarn, that's the betrayer. 5K ain't much. I mean, I'm just saying I know how to... I'm just saying I know recoil control on a new thing. Oh, is this a key?
I really did. The despair is our only way home burned. But I had to do it. Pain is the first step on the path.
Weird. I
Found
wonder...
a log at Tarn's camp.
Oh.
Didn't sound like him anymore.
Wait, what the heck is that?
What the hell happened while I was gone?
Just about everyone lost their damn minds.
Can't, like, climb up. This is a jumping puzzle. I almost feel like there was potentially a way to do that. Yeah, I think I need like an ability to grapple up there. I think you're right. Did kind of look like I could get up there though. I'm gonna try one more time. Yeah, I think you're right that I'm not supposed to... how did I like get... I like got on this ledge. Ah, whatever. Alright. Let's move on. I'm not sure if there's fall damage. I don't think so.
Jerome, eyes up, we've got trouble.
Now you see the kind of shit I've been dealing with. Best we avoid that thing.
Permanent resource used for rare and valuable armor alterations. Oh, okay.
I hear it. The voice. The whisper of the eclipse. It's been waiting. Watching us. It wants me to listen.
You can turn it off. Oh, really? Interesting. I wonder if like you just die instantly if you fall into a pit. I assume it's probably, maybe it's like Sekiro respawn mechanic, where you just like void out and spawn back in, but I feel like it'd be kind of punishing for you to just like insta-die from falling.
Soltari weapon detected. Soltari assault rifle. High-speed auto fire.
This was Tarn's favorite.
This is like kind of like an assault rifle, I guess. Auto aim? Yeah, I mean the thing is,
Jay, I see a tower.
if there wasn't auto aim in this game, it would be kind of rough. You can turn it off though if you really don't want it.
What are you talking about?
But it's kind of intended with like how fast the movement is.
Changing its mind.
Maybe we can find a way to the city.
Big planet, mate. One thing at a time. Find the signal.
Yeah, I mean this game is more so meant... It's more about dodging. Like, avoiding damage. How is the alt fire? Oh, I did the... But I can't... Is it like slower? I don't actually... Oh. It like speeds up. I see. I thought at first it was just like, it's just slower. What's the point of this, man? Oh, you know, I haven't been trying melees on enemies. I'm kind of curious how good that is. Seems pretty strong, honestly. So I have like a 9 in the bottom left. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm sure we'll figure it out though. I haven't really been using the shield at all yet.
Warning. Extreme threat detected.
How do I switch to the pistol? I don't remember. Can you... You can have more than one weapon, right? Oh my god, I'm actually getting wrecked. That was not good. Oh, you can only have one? Okay. That's fine. I didn't realize. I couldn't remember if you could have like 2 weapons. Maybe that's like an upgrade or something that lets you have like 2 weapons. Or maybe it is just one the whole time. Either way, it's fine. Oh, more armor?
This place?
Oh, it's a full
Is this some sort of temple?
heal. What's this?
Was that them? The ancients?
Biological evidence required. Iconography depicts a ritual. Context unknown.
Bonus damage at full power. Oh. Prominence. Missile velocity. Homing missiles? Is that... Wait. What is prominence? Is that my weapon? Oh, it's my arm? Or wait, no, I'm confused. Wait, power weapon. Oh, is that when I hold down... Oh, it's this. Okay, I think I understand.
Give me a scan.
Unknown technology. Leucinite composite constructed centuries ago.
Jay, I think I messed up.
Damn, it looks sick. Oh, you can actually shoot the tentacles. Arcosa has been changed by the eclipse. Hostiles have become more dangerous, will now fire corrupted projectiles. Oh.
What's with the Leucinite?
Energy yield vastly enriched during eclipse.
What the hell happened to that hostile?
Abnormal energy surge. Matching solar conditions.
Bonus melee damage at full power. So, I wonder, is there like a limit to how many like artifacts you can have? Oh, it seems like there is. Just kind of grabbing everything I see right now, but... Pull down on the dash. I mean, this is like me spamming it.
Alert. Soltari signal detected. Caution advised. Abnormal biomass detected.
Collecting Leucinite restores integrity if integrity is low. Sure. I don't know, I'm just picking up everything. Maybe I shouldn't, but... no, there's no stamina.
Bloody eclipse pissed off the entire world.
Are you okay?
Nothing I can't handle, but things are heated.
Sure. Back to the hand cannon. Yeah, I played Returnal. How's the game so far? Yeah, it's good. If you're gonna buy the game, be sure to click the panel below the stream as well, or you can type !SAROS in the chat. Use my link. I feel like the hand cannon is... Hand cannon kind of feels like stronger, honestly. feel like I can make it up here. Come on. So close. What if I'm standing on this rock? Routing already. Okay, I think we need the ability. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna try though. Unless I'm not speedrunning, bro. I just want the upgrade, man. Okay, I don't think I can get up there. Seems like that does a lot of damage. It's just hard to control. What is this? Wait, is somebody still alive? Causes corruption to build up that diminishes your armor. Corrupted artifact. Dash drain, increased dash cooldown. Corruption generates power. I don't know if I want a longer cooldown on the dash. Looks like I can go down there. Heavy... all the artifacts are corrupted. Heavy fall, take fall damage. Hmm. And I like how that's right before this thing where you can fall down. I wonder if that was just like bad luck. I don't know. I kind of like the pistol more. I wonder how many different weapon types there are in this. Well, we already used the rifle. We had the rifle before. I want to go down the hole. But if I go down the hole, I can't get back. So maybe we don't go down the hole yet. Or maybe it's like it like backtracks and I can use a key somewhere. I can't get up here. Well, maybe the... No, it seems like the same gun. Oh, maybe the hole takes you out, takes you down somewhere. I don't know. I mean, we're not getting like tutorial. Well, there are some tutorial messages still popping up, so I guess it's like kind of like the tutorial. You gotta like choose which one. I think we made the right choice.
This is a Labadla one from Echelon 4.
Hey Patrick, thank you for the 48 months.
I've left the others behind. They've been useless since Pierce died. They're blind to what's right in front of them. A treasure trove of technology. Value beyond anything we projected in the Lucenite venture.
No one said what happened to A-Lab.
For good reason. The bloke's poison, mate. Bloody Soltari suits.
You think he's alive?
Dunno. Don't care.
Nice. Wasn't there something else here? Did I pick up in the artifact? Collecting Lucenite restores integrity if integrity is low. Hitting hostiles slows them down. Lose Lucenite when hit. I don't want to lose Lucenite. Oh, you choose. Okay, I see. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Nightmare Strand. Overlord. Wait, what the heck is that? Did I miss that? Yeah, it's by House Marquee, the same devs as Returnal. That is correct. Yeah, it's been good so far. Sorry, give me 1 sec, chat. While I'm gone, you guys can all can check out the game by typing !SAROS in the chat or clicking the panel below the stream. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, I have Ricochet now. feel like I can actually make it up to this platform. Oh,
Sheridan wants me back out on the ridge. She talks like it's just routine, but I see the guilt.
wait, I'm
in her
getting hit.
eyes. She thinks it's a death sentence. Maybe she's right. We're not equipped to deal with those things out there. Just a support team.
Dang it, dude.
I don't know. I feel good, you know? Feel like I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, the HP bar is in the bottom left.
Caution. Alpha hostile.
Oh my god, I'm getting. They dodged it, dude. Where's those other enemies at? Holy schmoly! Freaking dead, dude. I just got wrecked. I guess I should dodge through him. Well.
How am I here again?
No data for the past 1.3
No,
hours.
it's not scripted. I don't think that was scripted at all. I think I just died. But I guess we can see if we can do any upgrades now. So Altari chose Carcosa for colonization due to the presence of leucine, compound with vast energy potential. Projected annual revenues from extraction and delivery to Earth are in the trillions. 3 Echelon spacecraft have been dispatched to Carcosa with missions to establish the colony and mining operations. Leucinite extraction takes precedence over all their concerns, including personal well-being. Why become an enforcer? It was the natural next step, doing what I do, but with more meaning, I guess. Meaning? It's not just about getting paid, it's about helping people. Does that make you feel good? It's not about that, it's not about me. Then what is it about? It's about helping people, dummy! They're really lost. If they're in trouble, then they need someone to save them, and I think that's meant to be me. Stack. Oh, these are the crew members. Hollow viewer. Maintain that the colony is still presumed to be active and successful. Crew management briefing. Emphasize the importance of securing the mining operation over colonists' well-being. Remind crew that any doubts and concerns should be taken to the designated primary unit, rather than disclosed to colleagues. Do not refer to the Echelon program with any terminology that implies failure to meet expectations. Disclose that there has been no contact with prior Echelon. Is it Echelon? Echelon? I don't even know. Missions. Since redacted. Allow any crew member to engage in reconnaissance without enforcer protection. Yo, what's up, AIM? I just died to, like, this big guy who had a big red shield and shotgunned me for, like, half my health. I mean, it was a skill issue. I was kind of panicking there. Yeah, the game's a lot of fun. I mean, oh, what is this? I guess it depends on, you know, do you mind dying and having to restart? Because that will happen a lot to you in this game. But there is also a lot of mechanics that, you know, with each death you become stronger. So.
This is the least of our concerns. I know.
Hey. Whatever keeps you going, Sebastian.
What is that for you, Arjun?
Finishing the mission. Keeping people safe.
Oh, Arjun. I know you better than that. Keeping people safe.
How's things been for you with all this?
Same as ever, my friend.
Though, I have missed your company. But you're all right. So few of us left now. I could rage about what I've lost. And what I deserve. But to what end? Sounds like you've given up.
Not at all. I chose a different dream. That's all.
When you were away, what were you looking for, Arjun? For something that makes sense. A clue, a reason, you know?
Sure. I hope you find what you need out there.
Thanks, man. So I guess just like new parts open up when you die. Or maybe once you like get far enough in. I'm not actually sure how that works. Okay.
Okay, I've got core functions online, but without access to a Solitary network, our primary unit is a shadow of what it should be.
Not such a bad thing. We need help, not corporate oversight.
Oh, it'll still have plenty to say. You know what these things are like.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Enforcer loadout protocols are good to go.
At last. Over to you, Arjun.
All right. Let's have it, Primary.
Interface for loadout calibration, Enforcer Devraj.
Oh, here we go. Spend resources collected during cycles to unlock alterations. These are armor matrix nodes which permanently upgrade your abilities. Unlock the first permanent upgrade by holding X. Okay. Drop Leucinite stays longer on the ground before disappearing. Your armor capability has been upgraded. Further armor alterations will help you to venture ever deeper into Carcosa. Contains a plethora of different upgrades. Select the next node by tilting R, moving the cursor with L. Oh, excuse me. Unlock adrenaline levels in combat. Okay, sure. Well, we have a lot of Luminite to spend. Increases Leucinite gain to allow faster proficiency upgrading. Hostiles drop extra Leucinite, though that seems good. I need to remember that I feel like it's going to be hard. I need to remember that I have a... Oh, okay. I need to remember that I have the shield. +5. You know what? I'm just going to go gonna go straight up the tree, I guess. Not sure what the purple... So we have like a purple currency, but it doesn't seem like we can spend it yet. Recorded deaths 2. Oh yeah, because I died in the tutorial. No, I didn't do the first boss.
This is different. All of it.
Map data unregistered. Resetting.
Collecting at full integrity
We haven't
converts
had a
Aether to
better lead than this
Lucenite.
yet.
How much do you get from this, I
Make
wonder?
it count, Arjun.
I know I screwed up earlier, but I'll find them. Trust me.
26,
That's
no, it's not
something I won't
much. Yeah, I got overwhelmed, like, super fast by that elite guy. It's funny because, like, I mean, I didn't have any issue with, like, the combat until that guy spawned, and then kind of caught me off guard how, like, deadly he was, honestly. I think you saw a grapple. Yeah, but we don't have...
The way they look at me.
We don't have grapple. Like the ability.
Doesn't upset me anymore. I will show them all how bright I can shine.
Honestly, melee is quite good, yeah. What is the... Is there no alt fire on this gun? I guess not. I guess this one doesn't start with it. So, what generates... Remember shield? Yeah, I... Can't shoot while you're shielding though, so it is just completely defensive.
So many gone. Tarn, Lena, Beers. There's something wrong with this place.
I was there when Beers walked himself off a cliff.
Well, the shield button is the melee
Until
button.
he hit the ground. Something's wrong with this world, mate. We need to protect the others from it.
Trail mines, oh, okay. It's so... It says trail mines, but I don't know... Is that just like an extra bonus to the blocking the blue gives you power ammo. Oh, okay. Raises adrenaline level. I mean, this game is gameplay focused. Sorry, there's not. You know, I'm not gonna do this. Oh, God. I see. Oops. Oh, you actually get... Okay, I see. Yeah, you get when you block the blue, you get so much... You get so much power. The power shot is really strong as well.
Tell me, why did Bierce do it?
He didn't make much sense by then. Kept babbling about a beach. No, a shore. That's what he said. He was looking for a shore.
Ah. I am gonna get the armor integrity. We played a bit of the RE2 mod at the start of the stream if you want to watch it. But I think we're just gonna be playing this game for the rest of the day, probably. Spectral round.
No sign of Bierce or Lab. I found a camp, presumably Tarn's. He built something here.
Rape missile?
An offering. Well, a shrine. It's madness. The longer I look at it. God. What did you find out there, Tarn?
I think Lena might still be alive.
I was just telling Bierce I knew she was
The
okay.
controller's fine in this game.
Bierce is dead. You told me that.
He was just... nothing, mate. Must be hearing things.
Hey, we're back. This is where we were before. This is where we, like, started the level last time.
Earlier, you were gone a long time, Arch. You really don't remember anything?
No, just the eclipse. Then I was back in the passage.
Seems like every eclipse, someone else breaks.
You seem to be holding up all right.
Yeah, well, my worries are my own.
I'm definitely still, like, getting used to the controls for this. Oh, damn. I think the game runs at 60 FPS. Alright, is that the weak spot? I'm on PS5 Pro. Oh, it's the ricochet hand cannon, I see. So, okay, I see. It's the type of, like, rounds.
I want new horizons. I want to help others. I want to discover myself. Pathetic. The only reason they're here is because we own them. So, I nod and smile. That's how I keep them working.
And I'm so bad at, like, the timed reloads. I'm like never ready for it to actually go off.
Is there a way forward besides that?
No alternate paths detected.
Okay.
How does this thing work?
Insufficient data.
Yeah, we are sponsored by Sony right now to be playing the game. You guys can all check out the game by typing !SAROS in the chat. You can also click the panel below the stream. +8 command. Taking damage briefly jams main weapon. Ugh. So many of these corrupted artifacts are kind of cursed.
I heard Beers again.
That's the point. But
Jay, you know he's gone.
But I keep hearing him.
So, wait, this one has charge burst. That's the one. Yeah. Super load? What does that do? Oh, it's the speed up. Jay, comms are down. Hope you find this. It's just me now. Tarn took off a couple of days ago. Didn't say where. Told you he wasn't ready. Seems like the only way off the ridge is going underground. That suits me just fine. Don't worry about me. You know there's no one better. L. Much money. Yeah, the yellow bullets you can't block. Or, well, I think you can block them, but I think it, like, hurts your energy if you block them. Yeah, there's auto aim. It's on by default, though. Oh my god, what am I doing, dude? Oh my god, dude. What am I doing? I don't want to die again. Actually, so bad. Oh, it's corruption is cleansed when firing your power weapon. I see. This is not good, guys. This is not good at all. I'm probably gonna die again, which is not great. It's a new game. I know. I mean, it's how I am, bro.
I'm guessing I can't break that.
There's heal in there.
Confirmed. Extreme kinetic energy required.
Oh. I want to get the power shot. Okay, when they glow blue, that's when I need to... Did I jump it? Oh, come on. That's happened every time. Dude. Jesus. Yeah, well, this is the same guy that killed me the first time. It's hard. You really have to be like ready to absorb the blue projectiles. Oh, wait, that's where I came from. Okay. Oh wait, this door is open though. Melee hits generate power. You know, whatever. Break through whatever those are.
Saltari holocache detected.
Oh? What's that? Oh yeah, you're right. I can break it with the power shot, but I don't think I have the energy for the power shot right now.
It's you. I knew you'd be okay. I knew you'd be here. Activate holocache.
Teleportation still won't hear anyone's concerns. The mission's the mission until we hear otherwise. I guess purpose is good, even if it seems absurd. I worry more about Micah. Sometimes I catch him staring at nothing, into the black. He says he can hear something. The others think he's losing it, but I think he's just
I guess that's the corruption on my back.
I'll find you. That's why I'm here.
Gain 1-hit immunity after opening container. I mean, we already have misfire, so what's... having it again isn't so bad, I guess. Not actually sure what the adrenaline level does. Pretty sure it was in the... there was like a tutorial for it, but I just forgot.
Residue of biomass
Vault
matches earlier scans. Spatial distortion ahead. Unknown
She
technology.
said it.
Tracing readings from a previous location.
It's gonna be a boss fight.
Shortcut. I'll take all the help I can get.
I know, I don't think so. Shortcut. Can I go back? I don't know if there was something else there.
Signal leads underground. I've found a tunnel leading there.
Careful, Arch. We have no idea what else is down there.
I just need to keep going. I'm
Weaker
close,
Aether.
Jake.
Immunity after kill. Oh boy. Greatwood. The gaping Greatwood. Oh, oh gosh. Okay. those two. Is there a third phase? Oh my god. Oh, I should have dodged. Damn it! I was gonna dodge through that, but I'm pretty sure you don't have to dodge that. Death penalty minus 50%. Oh no.
I need to get back out there.
No heals? No, you don't have heals in this game. You just have one health bar, and that's it. There was like one heal that dropped during the fight at one point, but that was it, I think. Maybe there was more heals in the arena that I didn't see. It's possible.
Now that Primer is online, let's get this place in order.
I've uploaded my scans of the architecture.
Honestly, I think I might...
Build out drones will take care of the rest.
Good work, Kayla, but we still have...
Hold on.
Plenty to do. Get stacked to help you with the cargo crates.
There we go. Okay, so now I found it was kind of awkward for me to try to dodge. Like, I don't know, it was uncomfortable for me just because of the way that I hold the controller to like hold like half hold the aim button and then also like dodge. I don't know. I put it on my paddle now, which I feel like
your absence
a bit more comfy.
Noted, Enforcer Devraj.
I was out there searching for our people.
Attempting recovery of company assets. File amended. Log your findings and deposit acquired resources. Everything on this world is Soltari property.
Sheridan says finding the colonists is my priority.
Soltari regulations supersede Commander Bouchard.
Soltari isn't here. That's why they sent us.
I am primary. I am Soltari.
Let's see. I wonder when do I use the purple currency? I guess it's like later in the tree or something. We have 7 of the what is it called? Halcyon or something? Oh, this one needs Halcyon, okay. Shields can now trap and draw power from corrupted projectiles. Oh, wow, okay. So I can actually block the yellow stuff with my shield now and get power. That's an insane upgrade.
Stay focused, Arjun. We can't afford to lose you again.
Won't let you down, Sheridan.
What the? Still get corrupted? Oh. Well, regardless, that's still nice. Oh, wait a sec. Hold on. Well, you can change controls from the game options, but not for the dual or the edge or whatever. The dual sense edge. Yeah, I figured there's probably an easier way to do it. I just wasn't sure.
User capabilities increased.
Nice that they give you such like an easy indication of when an enemy is doing like a blue attack. I don't even know what hit me there. Okay, so enemies can drop stat buffs now. Cool. Man, I almost have to like count my shots or something. It's when you're shooting with the pistol quickly, it's so easy to just tap R2 an extra time and then you just cancel it. No, you can't hold fire. Well, I mean, not with this pistol anyways, maybe with the other one. But I don't know if you can. This pistol is hard to use. I feel like it does really good DPS though. Absorbing the blue increases your power meter, which you can then use to do a like power attack, power shot it's called. You do that attack. Yeah, absorbing it is like quite useful.
Jay, you ain't said much about how it's been for you.
What's to say? I was the only enforcer left. I know my job.
Ever wonder why the rest broke and you didn't?
Emergency patch is pretty nice.
Yeah.
That kept me going
Scar tissue,
a bit longer in one of the runs.
Maybe there's nothing
How
else
hard
left
would
to
this
break.
be? I mean, I don't think it's that bad for like the game has, I mean, you might die like a fair bit early on, but every time you die you get stronger, so it's like inevitably you're gonna become super powerful. I mean, I've died twice now and I've already gotten some pretty big upgrades. Like you just get way more stats throughout the run because of it. And like, there's also, once you get, I don't know how this works, and I'm not asking somebody to tell me, but There's like a grapple in a bunch of rooms. We don't have the grapple ability yet, but whenever you end up whenever like you get the grapple, I guess you can also like activate these like an elevator or something. There's a bunch of things, almost like a Metroidvania, where you'll unlock new ways to like access loot.
Designing a city fit for thousands. Kurdal's making sure we don't wreck the ecosystem. Micah's out scouting, mapping, learning. Delroy's keeping us organized. Kira's recording it all, every step into history. And me? I'm dreaming about tomorrow.
Lydia.
Over there.
I knew
Get
you
to
were
that.
here. What's your read on Sheridan these days?
She doesn't give a lot away. But as far as I can tell, she's doing better than most.
I'm glad she's still focused on finding the missing echelons.
There's a reason she's the boss.
What's in here? Sure. Yeah, I can still grab these to like get money instead. I'm getting a lot of keys this run. Honestly, the shield is like insanely strong. I wonder if we're eventually gonna get like a parry move. That would be cool. Alright, that actually spawns some stuff. I could have parried that or blocked that. Yeah, I feel like you'll be able to parry those red attacks at some point with like an ability. It's over here. Okay, we're here now. I see. And I feel like my damage is... Some of these enemies are really tanky, like, fights take a while. I don't know if something different happens here. Might just be the same cutscene as before. Yeah, it seems like it.
The only way forward.
Reduce damage when at low health. Main weapon kills, reduce shield power consumption. That's totally not going to bite us in the ass.
Where are you? Please, find me.
I mean, we have a lot of drive. Didn't actually see what the other option was. Oh wow, firing while stationary deals reduced damage. Plus 12 stats though. Aw, come on, man. I feel like I'm basically always moving while I'm shooting in this game. Not bad. That was kind of scuffed. Worked out though. Ouch. Sure, I guess. I mean, I don't know exactly how the weapons work. Like the number is like the proficiency level, I think, which... Oops, this is a different type of wall. Ah, dang it. I tried to do the power shot. Did not work. That's not what I meant to do. Number besides the HP. +8 resilience. I'll just grab prominence. Yeah, it's like your level, I guess. I don't remember what the name for it actually is. But. Oh, recharging power becomes more efficient for every artifact carried. Okay, we have a lot of artifacts, although this is a level 15 rifle. Are we playing SAROS early? Well, I'm actually sponsored to play SAROS by Sony right now, or by PlayStation. But I believe if you get the deluxe edition of the game, you also can play it right now, correct, chat? Yeah, you guys can check out the game by typing !SAROS in the chat, or clicking the panel below the stream. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if there was something else over here. I guess we missed like one buff. Cool. I'm on PS5 Pro. I don't know which way to go. Oh, wait, couldn't I use a key on this door? Oh, that was so worth it. Yeah, I know I'm back at the start, but it's good that I looked around because pretty big buff. All right, let's try this again. What am I doing? does the power shot stagger him? Oh my god, I'm throwing. Oh my god. Oh my god, what am I doing? Oh my god, what am I doing? There's a dodge button for a reason. Oh no, I let go too early. I might be bone chat. Maybe we clutch this though. What am I doing, dude? I'm so bad, man. Dang it, dude. The problem is, you get like off rhythm, and you just like.
How long has it been?
Last vitals logged
My
2.5 hours
leucinite.
ago. I'm sorry, Stack. With the ship sabotaged, you have new orders.
Yes, I know I'm supposed to dash into them. I know. But the thing is, like, a lot of the moves you can just strafe. But you have to like read them fast. Like, you have to recognize what direction it's coming from fast enough. It's okay though. Soltari, the global leader in products and services to aid and uplift all aspects of life with the ultimate goal of furthering the human experience. Having enjoyed rapid expansion since its humble origins as a manufacturer of carbon capture technology, Soltari is now active in fields including robotics, consumer leisure, advertising, renewables, rare earth mining, agritech, weapons manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and of course aerospace engineering and deep space exploration. They do everything. Today, the Soltari family encompasses over 100,000 subsidiary firms and is proud to be the solar system's largest employer. Of course, this was merely the beginning of its ambitions. The Echelon program is the culmination of Soltari's long-term effort to establish a new frontier for humanity, following dozens of successful unmanned something. What's up, guys?
Anything yet?
Still searching. But I spotted a winged creature. Nothing like the others.
How could Soltari miss so much?
They only saw profit with the leucinite extraction.
Yeah, we all know they'll cut a corner to save a buck. But Carcos is a big investment.
Yeah, they definitely threw everything at it. 3 ships of colonists and then us to clean up the mess, obviously.
If leucinite's even half the energy source they say it is, you know how badly it's needed back home. But leave it to Primary to manage those odds. Hey, that creature you saw? Next time I hear about it, it had better be dead.
Copy that.
Tell me you found something.
No colonists yet. Just more ruins and hostiles.
There was civilization here. And now it's just dust.
What do you think happened to them? The builders?
I don't know. I just hope we learn that before it happens to us.
It won't. I won't let it.
Whatever they were, they built.
Better kill that boss this time. I'm hoping I don't fail again.
We can use what they left behind. Their weapons, their resources.
That's exactly what Soltari wants from us. To be their guinea pigs.
Is there any way I could join you out there? I feel like I'm rotting in here.
No, not until we know more. What happened to the colonists? Who built that city?
A city?
Well, we don't know anything about it.
The city. Gleaming, rising, screaming.
Stack. What are you on about?
I have seen it. Heard it. Like a dream far beyond these walls.
No, I didn't forget that I upgraded my shield, but somebody in chat said that if I block the yellow orbs, it still corrupts my armor. I guess my health was really low anyways, so I guess it doesn't matter, but... I mean, when you do the power shots... When you do the power shots, it, like, reduces the corruption as well, so I guess it's, like, probably fine, because you get a lot of blue attacks during that boss fight. Key junctions in the armor matrix are blocked by overlord nodes. You must dispatch the powerful overlords who gatekeep Carcosa. Each grants a potent alteration and access to the next section of the armor matrix. Okay, so I actually need to kill... Let me see. Wait, adds a second chance upon death? Well, that's... certainly gonna make this easier. Less Lucenite lost on death. I got sent a key for the sponsor. Man, you really don't get much currency. Yeah, we've got Death Defiance. What's up, Ruble?
Kayla does not trust me.
She's been hit hard by all of this.
That's not my fault.
You and me, we're her safety. Then one of us took that safety away.
Yeah, I'll make it right.
Might as well grab it for the extra money. You don't really get much, though. It's better than nothing, though. Wonder if it'll be possible to, like, melee only all the bosses. I want to see what the next biome looks like, man. Honestly, dude, the power attacks are so good. Almost feels like it's best just to, like, keep your shield up most of the time and just Try to focus on doing power shots. It's straight up just like one shots most enemies. Max level. Sure. Honestly, it was so long ago, I don't actually really remember. All I know is in Returnal, I beat the game in like 1 or 2 attempts.
They expected a dream come
Or
true.
actually, I think it was like my 3rd attempt that I beat it. Beat the game. Well, that was stupid. Oh yeah, you really don't take much damage. This pistol does not feel good. Oh. Okay.
The head that never deserved the crown. Prophet of lies. Master of rocked. His puppets jerk on its strings. Broken scarecrows to chase foes from the path. But when it saw me, it retreated. And it let me pass. It is yesterday's king. But I am tomorrow's.
Yeah, the way that the areas connect to each other is definitely random in this. Oh, we're back at full health, that's good. New gun. Surely we get the boss this next time and I don't fail catastrophically. And take 80% of my health and damage. First phase. I mean, we still got a little while before we get to the boss, but... That's nice. I feel like I haven't actually found that many artifacts this run, though. If there was another path. Oh. I don't think I'm supposed to. So I guess you do. It seems like you do more damage if oh, so many achievements. Another key? Gonna get platinum before beating the first boss. Maybe I will. Now let's see. I'm so confused. Why is it? I'm so bad at doing the quick reload, man. I'm like, I need to be like ready for it. I don't know if our stats are going to be nearly as good as the last run. We actually got some kind of crazy artifacts. We had so much like boost for our stats. We had that one artifact that gave like plus 12 stats. Quite a lot. Going backwards. Yes. Go up there. Quick reload, you could use R3, but what's the point? I mean, I guess I understand, so you don't like press R. You don't like shoot an extra time. All right. No more dying. The gate's still here? Oh. I don't even know what that... I don't even know what the downside was, but hey, it's a lot of stats. I mean, we don't take fall damage when we fall into the boss fight, do we? Oh, chance... I hope not. Honestly, I kind of want the rifle. I feel like the rifle is easier to use. Alrighty, here we go again. Let's lock in. Damn you. Okay, this is good so far. I've already died to this guy twice, so... Much better that time. No choke. Ooh, money, money, money.
Think I found another tunnel system. A bunch of roots just withered away.
Hey, what's up,
Ran
Tom?
into something unpleasant. But I'm on my way down now.
Hell yeah.
Spatial distortion detected. Tracing readings from passage.
Distortion.
Jay, the path ahead is blocked. But I found a way back to the passage.
The tunnel I found is clear. I'll check it out.
I'll catch up with you. See you down there.
So this is blocked? Oh yeah. How far in are we? We just beat the first boss.
Explain your arrival, Enforcer Devraj. Your report. Now.
I found something. In the ruins. It brought me back here. That's all I know.
This network was closed to me before. Accessing. Establishing interface. Teleportation. This technology is now Soltari property. A bonus has been allocated for your discovery.
Oh, I don't give a damn about the bonus, Primary. I need to get back out there.
Then we are aligned, Enforcer Devraj. I have linked our cartography to the ancient network. Access the device and follow the path you opened.
Yeah, you can turn off the auto-aim in this game if you want.
The ancients' usage of teleportation is vital to Soltari interests. Find other nodes and activate them.
Oh, wow. 1800 as well from that. Start each cycle with an extra redraw item. I'm gonna hold off on those weapon proficiencies. What is this? Oh, +1 to all? +30 to max armor. Start the cycle with a key. Adrenaline levels increase faster. Max power. Oh yeah, I forgot I have the revive as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the proficiency actually. Oh. Okay.
You sure this tech is safe to use?
Profit analysis deems the risk
I feel like we're gonna be so
acceptable.
strong now.
Proceed, Enforcer Devraj.
You actually get so much stronger, like, with each run. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know, like, the extent of how much the stats do, to be fair.
I haven't rested since... I just keep seeing his eyes in my sleep.
I see them too. That bold yellow. I still haven't captured the color properly.
Whatever helps you process it, I guess. I just want some damn sleep.
Record of interaction, Sheridan, Kayla Rhodes. Will we see a corpse? There's every chance she's still out there. If so, getting her back here should be our first priority. You know how desperately I want more people here, but it's not worth the risk. Even if she is alive, Lena was always kind of off. We all felt it, long before she ran out on us. I don't disagree, but enforcers are the most precious commodity we've got, and we still don't know if we can rely on Arjun. That's exactly the problem. You saw what happened to Tarn. The last thing we need is someone else we can't trust running around here with a loaded gun. Hear you, Kayla, but this is my call, not yours. But it's my safety we're talking about. It's about the only thing I've got left. It said the matter is closed. Wait, what's that light on primary? Yeah, I know that I can use the shield for the yellow projectiles, but at the same time, it's gonna, like, I'm pretty sure if I was using the shield for the yellow projectiles, my DPS would have gone down significantly. Because most of the yellow projectiles you can just jump or strafe, so you can continuously shoot the entire time. And also, if you block the yellow projectiles, it still applies corruption to your total health bar. So if I blocked a bunch of yellow attacks in a row, I'm pretty sure it would basically be the same as losing half of my HP. Because I actually don't know exactly how it works, but I assume that corruption, like if half of your health bar is corrupted, like let's say you're at full health and then half of your health bar is corrupted, and then you get rid of the corruption, like are you then at half health, or does it actually recover the health?
You walk horizons we can barely see.
What are you saying?
When you moved from shore to shore, I felt it happen.
Oh, you mean the teleporter? You're more a poet than a pilot these days, Stack.
Well, I mean, I didn't really want to try blocking the projectiles in the boss fight, because it might end up getting me killed a third time.
You can use that device to teleport around Carcosa.
Yeah.
I can try it on the
If
enemies,
I find
though.
other notes.
Did Tarn know something we didn't? I need to know every resource we have to find the colony.
All right. Well, we just had a 2-hour sponsor chat, so I'm gonna change the title just to like first playthrough now. But I want to say thank you again, PlayStation, for sponsoring the stream today.